part of being masculine is taking what's yours, being aggressive about what you want to get in this life, and saying and making being decisive about it. Saying, listen, I want this to happen. Like just now, right? When I was getting ready to do this show, I was like, like, damn, like I really want my channel to get bigger. Pause. But I'm thinking about what I have to do, and I'm like, you know what? Let me not overthink it. Right? I'm not gonna do too much, And so it dawned on me that I'm like, you know what? I'm making more money right now than I have in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making a ton of money, and I need to make about 1,000 more a month. But I'm making more money. I mean, so my money has gone up, and it's continued to go up. When I accumulate, like over like, all right, for 2025, I'll definitely have made like nothing crazy, but I'll definitely have made like 70, like 70, 75. You know what I'm saying? Which is not bad. It's just that, hey, listen, the economy is fucked up, and I got daddy bills. And I have to also support my my other household and pay for things for my son and things like that. And so also have emergencies and things like that. But anyway, my point being is, it wasn't until I decided I decided as a man, I decided what I was gonna do, and I decided that I'm gonna make more money. And in a way, it was made out of no way. Yo, I went over my history of doing Instacart and looking at how much I made on certain weeks. This week's I made $40, $50. You know what I'm saying? It took me a minute to get back into like the groove of doing Instacart and like and learning how to work this shit. You know what I'm saying? Now I can count on if I go about 6 days and especially if I do ones that I don't want to do, which is I fight that too. That's another reason I try to find a lot of things to bring me to like getting the most out of it. Anyway, my point being is we're talking about what being masculine is. Okay, but anywho, but this is this common aesthetic, and I wanted to show that dude on screen, before we went to this first slide, and this is a push back in back when Drake first came out. Okay,
A new twist to hip hop, like a new level of like sensibility to like, I don't know. It's very what I like about him, I think, is that it's sort of honest. Like it seems really honest. You know what I'm saying? And um, he speaks from like a perspective that like a lot of people won't say and touch on in regards to like women and vulnerability sometimes and so on and so forth. Like it's sort of dope. And that's always good to me because I think true music is always the best.
Drake got bars, bro. Yeah, Drake got bars. By the way, Pusha says Drake got bars. Yeah. When Drake makes something that's amazing, we talk about it all the time. When something is amazing.
Malice worked with Drake ages ago, and they're just dope. Like what I'm saying, like Drake is dope. He brings a new twist to hip hop, like a new level of like sensibility to like, I don't know. It's very what I like about him, I think, is that it's sort of honest. Like it's.
so in that video right here, and one of the reasons why I was saying that Push is being a whole ass nigga is because you can't give someone they flowers and me tell you something. 95% of the attacks on your soul, on you in general, are going to be non-physical. Okay, 95% of communication is probably non-verbal. So many different ways that we communicate without actually speaking to one another and using words. But one of the biggest problems I see with black folks, you know what I'm saying, is that
bitch, you've had your surgery.
We're good to go.
a lot of y'all are terrible at comprehension. You are not able to comprehend things and able to see things from a wider view, right? But anyway, let's go back to that real quick. I wanted to also read this. This is actually the caption from Drake, right? And this is the quote I'm talking about when he says, "My first thought when they get to talking out the side of their mouth is never fear or doubt. It's they obviously got an album coming out." So Push actually has done this about 3 times now. So when Push was putting out dates, I think that was Daytona. Was it Daytona? Yeah, I think that's Daytona, the one from 2018. That's when the story of Adonis came out, right? And listen, he milked that entire run. That nigga was all smiles on the Joe Button couch. You would have thought that. I don't know, man. I always say every time I have a chance to touch on that subject, pause. Story of Adonis is the worst beat choice. A diss track is supposed to get you hype. A diss track is supposed to be like a hot. The prerequisite is a dope beat. You don't choose. No one ever raps to the fucking story of OJ. That's not really a good. It's not a good beat to diss someone on. This is your. It's supposed to be like the kind of track. I always think about Takeover. So even though Takeover is dissing a lot of different people and it's not really a long song because he kind of riffs at different times in the song. But that's one of the best diss songs to me because I can listen to it and enjoy it. And not only that, the bars that count really count. You understand? Even with Drake's back to back was a great. That was a good record. That was a good song, right? And that's what made it really count. It wasn't just him dissing him, and also it wasn't forced. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna play this shit back to back. You know what I mean? Like, listen, at the time, that shit had so much energy to it, and on top of that, you know, no one thought that Drake was picking on Meek Mill. You know what I mean? People thought it was like it was a fair fight. Actually, people thought Meek Mill was going to beat Drake in that battle, and that shit just didn't go that way. You know, but that niggas gotta realize that Meek Mill is not the same thing as what's going on with Kendrick, and also too, Drake was not in negotiation. I gotta realize that Drake being in this negotiation has a huge impact on how everything is going. So anyway, fast forward to today, Pusha T appears to take jabs at Drake and Birdman on the new Wale collaboration, Damage Control. I mean, I'm getting to a point now, bro, but I don't want to hear no more clips of Pusha T. Because the thing is like, yo, real talk, it's like this thing where you can see what's going on, right? And you know that it's not right, but it's hard to even explain to a lot of people around you. Because again, for me, it's a morality thing. Also, and just in general, it's just corny. I just feel like everything he's doing is corny, and it's like being allowed, right? Because it's just like this dark skin privilege shit. But going back to that verse and everything, right? In that comment section, people are talking like Push is saying the illest shit ever. I'm gonna say this one time, bro. Push is a pretty cool rapper. I like Pusha T, right? But Push has never been the top of nothing because he's not a well-rounded artist. He's not really an artist. He's a good one verse nigga. Like he shines on verses. He like the songs he has. I think his songs got better over the years and whatnot. But most of the songs that Push make, they're just not really musical. You know, a lot of it is like the beat is so hot. And this is kind of different, and this is like I can kind of get into, and that's like the appeal. That's like the appeal of his music. But you still have to meet him halfway. Like you can't. Again, you're never going to hear a Push or Clips record be played at any function where it's a lot of people. Not a bowling alley, not a CVS, not at the mall. You're not going to hear that shit at Starbucks. You're not going to hear that shit at a party. Not going to hear that shit at the family reunion. You're not going to hear it nowhere. And I think about that a lot when I make music. Like I understand a lot of stuff that I want to make is going to live in your headphones in the car. As long as I can get you in the headphones in the car, that's where you're going to be at the most of the time anyway. Headphones, car, and people who go to the gym. You know what I mean? That's why I'm looking to catch. Because I want them to feel like this would be a great song to work out to. I can't wait to work out to this song tomorrow. I can't wait to drive or play this in my car tomorrow. Those are the kind of records that we're trying to give you over here at Six Pass TV. You understand? But my main thing is that, yo, me personally, I don't change if I give you your credit, I don't change things up. But going back to the whole attack thing, right? And your personal life, I want you guys to look out for this. I don't want you guys to be falling for this, man. But before we go any further, I have found the good let me see. Something to do with him, like a recent interview. Hold on a second. Where is the shit at? Really fun getting Drake crazy in the clubs. People can change their minds. I was trying to find the comment I saw earlier. Where is it going? Bro, these flies, yo. Last few days I have not had as many flies in the house, and I'm like really happy. I don't know what's going on, but it's like not as many flies in here somehow. But you know, whatever. Anywho, I don't see it. Fuck it. Okay. So I had one more clip I wanted to play from Academics real quick.
Funny, all of the little rap journalists that be hating on niggas like me, they hit on the popular stuff. They all got paid to dick ride this Clips album. They all got paid. Niggas just talking about, nah, y'all ain't tapped into the Clips album. Nigga, it's 2025, bro. What are you talking about, dog? But y'all niggas is acting like this is like the thing. You ever seen how they talking about that fucking Clips album? Funny. All of the little rap journalists that be hating on niggas like me, they hit on the popular stuff. Right? They all got paid to dick ride this clip.
Yeah, so we got all the usual suspects right here. So you can see Peter Rosenberg, you can see Ebro, and I'm not really thinking about it. I mean, because now this conversation is coming up more about how much damage Ebro and Pete Rosenberg have done to hip hop. Because I remember growing up, right, in the 2010s and being a guy in my 20s. So that was a time when people online and people like Pete Rosenberg, when you saw them interviewing certain people, you just automatically thought this must be really dope, or this must be a really dope artist or someone that I want to get into, right? And I ain't gonna lie, almost each and every time, and I'm gonna go to your boy Anthony Fantano too. Yo, I kind of forgot why I stopped watching his channel. I remember when he gave Watch the Throne a 7.5. If he would have gave it a 9 or 8.5, I could live with that. But that was the first thing that that made me say, okay, and then he gave House of Balloons by the Weeknd, which at the time that wound up being the beginning of one of the biggest artists and one of the most talented artists who's made some of the best music ever. That was the beginning of his career. And I believe Anthony Fantano gave that album like a 7. I remember how he was like playing them out. And I ain't gonna lie, he actually found, and I didn't understand that he found the angle and made me hear the guy's music totally different. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that video real quick, y'all. So I actually found this. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So we'll play some of this, right? Now, mind you, let's see what we have in the comment section. You got anything in the comment section? Let's see. Love how the Weeknd was so mysterious that Anthony thought he was a group. This has to be the lowest. That's just from 6 years. Now, mind, this is like from 2011. Okay, so that's about 14 years ago. So these are more recent comments. 6 years ago, this has to be the lowest point in Anthony's music reviewing career. Anthony's worst review of all time. Let's be real here. House of Balloons was so ahead of his time that most people failed to understand his greatness. Even Fantano wasn't ready for this. I love how people are commenting on this like he did it yesterday. Anthony's most embarrassing review, to be honest. So before we play this, I'm gonna explain what he did in this review. What he basically did was the way that he hears the Weeknd. He hears the Weeknd as the kind of dude that can get more attention than him, right? What he's done is trying to make the guy that's cool, basically the guy that's desirable to girls, make him seem like an asshole, make him seem like a douchebag. So some guys, right? When it comes to, now again, I don't think he's autistic as in he's mentally challenged, but when it comes to expression, you can hear how he has people who have a very unique tone. To me, that's a sign that they're in the genius area of autism, right? Where like they're like genius, like they don't have any of the bad parts really. They more so are awkward. Not even awkward, they're just quirky. They just have certain, and mostly it plays out in their voice. But usually they're very gifted at something, and they can be very intelligent. But they may have things with they may have issues with like social connections, realizing when they're offending people, realizing when they shouldn't do something, taking certain social cues, picking up on certain things. Sometimes they may come across as cold and unfeeling because they just don't understand certain things, and that plays out and turns into a whole personality for the individual. But again, what he was doing, this is what a lot of guys do, and again, especially given someone who has his masculine archetype, he has not won the genetic pool, and shout out to CGA, he makes his point. Not that there's not that he can't improve on any of this stuff, but also some guys lean into like. And again, I'm not saying it's an ugly guy. I'm just saying that it's not the kind of guy that women see or meet and say, hey, I want to get to know him type shit. You know what I mean? Or I want to be around him, or he seems like a really cool guy. And of course, he had a black wife. We tell y'all, black women, when y'all get a white guy, y'all white man is either average, slightly below average. Pretty much, if he's just an average white guy, that's the best case scenario. Okay, but anyway, but of course he had a black girlfriend, and so now Anthony Fantano is being brought up a lot, and what's happening. The reason why people are going in on Anthony Fantano is dudes like this do not realize when they're being a hoe ass nigga and being a hater. So he's kind of made being a hater his whole career. Another thing he's done is, for the most part, I realize now what he's done. He's created a universe where he wants to make you think music that no one likes is really good, and music that people actually enjoy is whack. So let's go ahead and listen to him explain this album.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. This is the needle drop where we blah 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 about blah
Fair
blah
use.
blah. It's reviewed to time the weekend's House of Balloons. I've been getting a lot of requests for this. These guys are
Who are
Canadian
these niggas?
and Houses is their debut album slash mixtape. It's free, and that and some rave reviews have kind of spread it around the internet like wildfire. And while this is R&B, it's not really an average album in the genre. I would say one of the few things kind of keeping it there are the R&B style vocals. Outside of that, the production is pretty experimental. There's samples of Beach House on here, Susie and the Banshees, a lot of weird cycling noises and hums, also a lot of atmospheric reverbs, bleak percussion, very chilly dark keyboards, but there is a good amount of auto-tune here, which I can't seem to escape from. Auto-tune is everywhere these days. So in a way, this LP kind of my auto-tune fears. Even though I have listened to LPs with auto-tune
Fair use.
before, I'm yet to review something that features this much of it. And it's got me wondering, could there possibly be a day where maybe I'm enjoying auto-tune? Friday. Because there are a lot of instances that when I hear it mixed on a record, it kind of sounds like a robot with a nasal decongestive problem. And I get that a little bit here, but the thing is, the vocalist in this group can really, really sing, and very well too. So the auto-tune here is kind of used for effect, or to just accent, or just add another sound, instead of being a safety net. So at the end of the day, I just kind of see auto-tune as a tool. Just depends on who's using it and in what context for me to enjoy it. Now back to this. Believe me, I am all for artists taking the sound and the style of contemporary R&B and reclaiming it and doing something a little more interesting with it. Because for too long, the genre...
Perfect example. Perfect fucking example. Okay, that's Janelle Monáe. Okay, I'm not saying Janelle Monáe is not talented. She's an example of she's like the R&B version of Cynthia Erivo. It's like none of it's not bad. It's just she just was never able to have, and I know what it was, to having a likable image and a likable brand. All right, because a part of her brand is being this really alternative kind of woman. I think she's married. I think she's married to a woman right now, or she was married to a woman, right? And and now that we're in 2025, it's very clear to me like what kind of woman this is. And this is a super millennial acting kind of woman. You know what I mean? Because when she first came out, she was all covered up, and she had a song called Tightrope, which I didn't really like, right? And I'm not saying that because it's whack. It's just because it wasn't a relatable record. Like, she didn't really have records that were understandable or relatable. A lot of it was like a lot of theme to it, but she was interesting. This is the era when a lot of interesting people came about, and this is when you could be famous for being online, or I'm sorry, people's ability to play your music online and make it their Facebook profile or put it on their MySpace. Because you used to be able to play your music on your MySpace, or no, and this is the beginning of social media. And when people are able to mention, talk about, or have your song playing on a video on social media, they can post a cover to it, they can dance to it. There's all these different things that people can do that can involve your track, which changed how far an artist can go, or how much a career that someone could have. And you could just be interesting, which really translated well for this new world where people were on the internet more. So on the internet, you're looking at images more, so you need to be more eye-grabbing, attention-grabbing. You need to stand out more. But that was never an appealing image for her. I mean, because it's just not, women have to be beautiful and sexy. You can't get around it. This is something that people try to get around, and then now we're on the other side of that, where she's making music about, having, kissing girls. I believe she's a pansexual. Just one of those nonsense terms. This basically means that you are difficult. you're a difficult. If someone is anything other than lesbian, homosexual, or straight, or that usually means I'm difficult. I'm very very difficult, very difficult. So um when I would see him rate these albums high, I would go and listen to the albums. My bad, I take my do rag off so I can see the cut. I would go and listen to the albums. I would go and check it out and see what's happening. And I would be like, all right, what am I not getting here? And I would always feel like I don't like this. Like I'm not fucking with this album, or I just can't get into this. I'm thinking like, wow, he's very brutal with how he rates albums. So if he's giving it this score, it must be good. And he also did the same thing for I think I bought Run the Jewels. And again, Killer Mike, you know what I'm saying I like Killer Mike, talented guy. I like the Killer Mike album way better than any Run the Jewels. Like, I like the Killer Mike album by himself way better than any Run the Jewels track ever. I've never heard a Run the Jewels track that I liked. All right, it just never happened. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I believe all things are possible. I'm like, yo, where's my damn soundboard? I'm not even like finger fucking that soundboard right now. Anywho, also, um, this is another example of the aesthetic of the kind of person who's going to be champion and trying to make you think that the Clips album is the best thing ever. I'm not, you know what it is? What made me not want to hear this shit is how people started acting and what they made it about. So naturally, right, when I see that kind of thing going on, I peep game. I'm not with the sheep mentality. I'm a leader. I'm a natural born leader. I just can't get with that shit. You know what I mean? But I have to speak on it because there's so many of you ugly niggas who was able to get online and create a life for yourself. And again, you became the loser who can change the world. And you made the world think like losers. I'm already about to, my voice is already about to give out. And we're gonna be getting into the Jimmy Swole. So we'll probably go Jimmy Swole. Giving that. I'm so disappointed that you apologize, my nigga. Goodness, you apologize? I'm like, especially as a white guy, I don't apologize to these niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, and that's also a good example of, yo, if white folks didn't fuck with you like that, bro, yo, Jimmy Swan gotta apologize to y'all. White folks really be telling that nigga sorry. All y'all gotta do is hear a white person say nigger. And I'm not saying that it's okay, you should do it. But I'm like, I don't know, man. It's just, unless like it's a situation where, you're talking to me or I see you in a confrontation, your first thing is to go to nigger. Yes, okay, I can see that. And also with the whole recording with Hulk Hogan, I'm not saying that it was okay. But if somebody tell your ass sorry, because when you say sorry, especially black folks, if you can get an apology from a black person, I swear, y'all niggas don't know how rude. That's why I be showing y'all these videos with these K-Dot fans shoplifting and getting busted by the cops. I don't know how much of a problem you guys are. I'm gonna show you a K-Dot fan a little bit too. Don't think I forgot. You understand?
Has been saturated with so much commercial radio BS. And The Weeknd does experiment in their own way sonically, like I said, with the production, those weirder, more left field sounds. But it's not like the production is so amazing that it's a saving grace for what I feel is like the Achilles heel of this album, and that is the lyrics. And by lyrics, I don't mean what this album is about. For the most part, this thing rounds the bases on some pretty understandable topics, something that we have all heard songs about or watched movies about before. It's things like depression, lack of self-confidence, addiction, sex, troubled relationships, and living on the edge. So no, I don't really have an issue with the subject matter here. My issue is that I feel like these stories on this album are being told from the perspective of a reality TV show star on MTV. The character on this album would fit nicely into the cast of Jersey Shore. He's drug-addled, makes emotional mountains out of molehills, he parties all night, and he thinks with his wang most of the time. When you're not getting a play-by-play of really trivial drama like on the track Wicked Games over here, you're getting all these attempts at being poetic by putting together key phrases like look into my eyes and references to hearts and scars and pain. This thing basically reads like the tear-stained diary of that jerk who shows up at your friend's party with 2 fake diamond earrings, a popped collar, the shirt's kind of open in the chest. He weighs 90 pounds wet, and he walks around just hitting on everybody's girlfriend.
All right, so that either has been him at some point. You got to realize when dudes, man, listen, your punani path, your pussy path, however you go about getting women is going to shape who you are for the rest of your life and the things you do, the clothes you going to wear, how you going to talk. So what this guy could have done, I'm saying, is get in the gym, you know what I mean, work on his study. But again, you got to realize a guy like this probably don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? It probably doesn't even occur to him. Not only that, I'm just saying, I can't even, I'm sorry, man, I can't see Anthony Fantano being likable in person. It's a possibility. I'm just saying, someone who talks this way doesn't sound like they have anything positive to say about anything, you know. And I'm just saying, like, listen, a dude like this will dry the women up. I'm saying, yo, all the niggas that would dry a woman up, yo, those be the main niggas online. A lot of y'all ugly niggas be online, really capable for the clips and everything. But don't get me wrong, he didn't make a terrible point. He wasn't necessarily wrong, right? But I remember him. When I first heard that album, I really enjoyed it, and he ruined the album for me at the time when he pointed these things out. But the thing is, here's the thing about this review. And again, not that he's wrong. You're entitled to your opinion, right? But when someone points out all the negative things about something, right, and doesn't give something its credit, it will change your perspective because they're planting a seed in your mind. And I'm gonna lie, it kind of like did ruin the songs for me. And a lot of those songs are songs that are meant to be lived to. Like you're supposed to kind of play that in the background. You know what I'm saying? When you at a kickback or when you cleaning that house or whatever, it's supposed to kind of like let it rock. You know what I mean? They're not all records where like it's the best record in the world, but at the time for what it was really amazing. And because it doesn't. I'm not saying that lyrics don't matter. It's just, I mean, for what it was, for what House of Balloons was, that was an amazing project. It was very experimental, and it changed everything. I remember how emotional it felt to me. It felt so emotional. It felt so, I just felt, I don't know. And that's how music, that's what music is supposed to do. And that's why I have to stand on, like, I'm not saying the clips is whack, but I'm just saying, bro, that's not, you can't live to that music. Like, I'm not going to think to play that shit nowhere. Because, again, there was a time where like, formless music, like the music the clips play or make, was acceptable. Or, like, Dipset music was more, because, again, that was the standard back then. You can get away with that. But when Drake, T-Pain, and Future, and Roscoe Dash, and Jeezy, all these different people came along, they made songs more efficient. That's why the South always leads and flows, because they're able to rap in ways that are efficient, meaning that they're able to rap in ways where you want to hear that song again. It has replay value, you know what I mean? And it's sonically, it just sounds how it's supposed to sound. I mean, it is what it is. They established new and just accept it. The drill and trap flow and the melodic flow, that's always gonna be a part of the foundation. You have to have some of that. You don't have to be singing or nothing like that, but you have to have some rhythm. And the thing about the clips is, fam, like, these records even got rhythm to it. You can't, again, like, this is the album with Kumbada and Loaded Lux. Now, that album will be along the same lines, but I was able to play that shit because, now mind you, they don't have no singles on that album. Ain't no singles on that album. Ain't no radio shit on that album. It's just really dope rapping, and they're rapping so dope. I was able to enjoy it and play it mostly because they had energy to it. And they doing different flows, and like Lux is really dancing on this fucking album, bro. You know what I mean? Like Lux, the way he rap now at this point, I can understand how a young nigga might think that he sound not really old school, but you know what I'm saying? But you know, his rap is very, very condensed. You know, but anywho, the energy, and that's for anyone out there. We making this music, come with the most energy possible. That's what you need to come with on the recording. Like really, really perform that shit, because that's what makes niggas feel the record. It's the performance. That's why when you hear a singer sing, when they really perform that shit, you can really feel what they're saying. Pause.
But nobody stops him because it's funny to watch him try. And believe me, the depressing aesthetic of this album is not lost on me. I get it. It's the soundtrack to this dude's downward spiral into drugs, women, and money. It is a sad tale, but the problem is I don't sympathize with this guy because he's acting like a tool. He talks like a tool, he walks like a tool, he has tool-like tendencies and desires. He's being a tool. People like the character on this album exist in real life, and they deserve to have their side of things told too. I'm not going to deny that, even if it is written with the tact and eloquence of a series of drunk texts at 3 a.m. I appreciate the concept here. More artists should take The Weeknd's and even Frank Ocean's lead and screw with R&B. I can't really see myself returning to much on this album. I'm feeling like a strong 3 to a light 4 on this. Is that harsh? Well, I just really have a negative feeling about it. I don't enjoy it. But I know that there are a lot of people out there who are. What do you think of this album? Do you think it's amazing? Do you think it's a step forward for R&B? Or do you feel like me and maybe the lyrics kind of hold it back a little bit, even though the sounds and the concept are pretty interesting? And that's the review.
All right, so we're gonna leave it there. Okay. So there's that, and I'm gonna explain the other reason why he can't understand or he couldn't understand how good the album was, right? And a part of it was also again the hater aspect. The hater aspect can be strong, man. Okay, but also depending on your experiences, you want to hear music differently. I always tell people this shit. When I was less successful, when I wasn't on my own, before I had gotten to where I was doing my business full time, right? Like I used to like this song by Drake called the 4 a.m. free. I think I'm sorry, the Chicago freestyle with Giveon. First time I heard Giveon, right? And Drake has a bar when he says, me, I go through underground garages. Basically like you go in there with your girls, I'm gonna go through the back door because I don't know who's out there watching. Basically saying like, yo, when you at this level, you can't be moving stupid. You can't be. You have to always be watching now. You got to always be careful. There's always people who have you on their mind and who are plotting on you. And I'm doing these. I have to take these steps to make sure I can have a safe night and get back to my room safely. All right. And not only that, he's speaking more so to coming to peace with being a target. All men are targets, but the more successful you are, you could become a bigger and bigger target. You become less and less of a human. The more successful you are, the less people think that they have to appreciate you or show you any kind of appreciation or any kind of acknowledgement. And a lot of times, don't ever think that, especially if it's someone that you give to, don't you ever think that when you give to them and do for them that they don't know that they should be grateful, that they don't know they should say thank you. Most of the time, you're not saying thank you to fuck with you. People, especially the women in your life. The women in your life do a lot of things just to fuck with you, and you cannot play those games. And it's going to take some balls. Most of y'all scared. Y'all niggas will not do monk mode, and that's why you haven't experienced the kind of change that you experience because you haven't had the time to have the internal change happen. Okay, I can really say, yo, I'm a way more confident everything than I was a few years ago. You know what I mean? And now I'm getting back all the way into to have my diet right and everything, you know, and getting back control of my health the way I need to be, you know, and it's just doing what I gotta do, bro. Right? But anywho, Anthony Fantano also couldn't understand these songs because you don't fuck with pretty girls. You don't be out and about. You're not cool. You're not lit. When it comes to hip hop, right? In hip hop and R&B, there's gonna be certain songs that can be understood by all people, right? But it's just like for example, when I was younger, I really didn't get how fire all of Jaheim's songs are. Those songs is fire, bro. I be forgetting to play that shit in the car. You know what I'm saying? I can't sing the lyrics to all them songs and whatnot. But in hindsight now, but I wasn't mature enough because I wasn't driving. I wasn't in a relationship. I couldn't really. I understand. I just knew the song was good, and I had a basic understanding at 14, 15 years old. But yo, when I'm in a barbershop, somebody start playing some Jaheim, I'm like, yo, this shit's roof. This shit's fire. But the thing about Jaheim was a Jersey nigga. That's one. It's always gonna be a strike against you. And two, he wasn't attractive enough. You know what I mean? And this is that time when, yo, if you there was some ugly singers. I'm not saying he ugly, but there was some ugly singers and everything, right? But those guys didn't do that well. You know what I mean? Because that wasn't that kind of era. There wasn't that era where you can promote yourself in different ways. Like, yo, if you're not the most attractive guy, you can't really get the heartthrob status. You got to kind of promote yourself differently. And I think that also I think John, and again, I'm not understanding why this doesn't really happen. But a lot of times artists don't seem to get better, don't seem to make better songs. They have a period in their career where they make some really good stuff, and they mostly can perform songs from that era. A lot of people, like people I grew up on, they would not be able to like put together like a great album right now that I want to hear and I can enjoy. I don't think Incubus. I'm like, yo, every time I've ever tried to give an Incubus song a chance that wasn't on the album or on two albums that I like, it's just I don't know, bro. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm comparing it. I don't know, but I cannot get into it. And maybe and listen, for some people, yo, that you got that one great album in you. You know what I mean? And some people they those songs. I think some people have a finite amount of like good material they can put together or just great moments they can have. And I think it's a good thing because some people don't have any great memorable moments that people will always remember. That's one of the most important things, or most things. I'm sorry, that's the thing that you should covet. It's when you have experiences that are unique to you that other people are not having. But anyway, like I said before, who you are has a big impact on how you hear lyrics, how you relate to lyrics, right? Even like trap music, right? If you're not from the hood, you don't really even understand the dude that's talking. You don't know no one like that. You from fucking Minnesota, you know what I'm saying? And you hear fucking Albie Al, you hear a Bean the Butcher, like you don't know niggas like that. Or if you a dude that's never been to the hood, or you a dude that ain't never lived in the hood, you don't know hood niggas. You've never interacted with these niggas. You don't know how they sound. You don't know you don't know their heart. So even though I ain't no trap nigga, but I'm from the block though. So I understand, or I have an idea, or I'm way closer mentally than say a white kid from Minnesota or an Indian kid that's coming from the UK. You heard? All right, I'm gonna take a little break. All right, come right back. Get that Wi-Fi together, baby. Here we go again. You ready? Make sure we got the right drone on, man. All right, we on the right drone. All right, man. We get to the second half of the show. Take a quick little break. Y'all don't know it was a break, but I'm gonna tell you the break because I want to be transparent. I want you guys. I want us to feel like a family. I'm just looking for some family on some Kanye shit. So they bring it to my front door on some entree shit. Pussy so good she could charge me $3,000. That's some entree shit. I explode on the hole on some Pompeii shit. Anyway, all right. So let's go ahead and get back into the theme of you flies gotta chill out. These flies have been terrorizing your boy. Please send me some send prayers. Okay. Send me some prayers to. Anybody got a prayer for flies? Look, what do I gotta sacrifice? No, I mean, what do I gotta burn in here? Anywho, so expanding on the subject of when men don't realize you're looking like a whole ass ninja. Okay, so we're moving on back to the LeBron and Drake conundrum. So I want to play a video from academics, and we're gonna go ahead and react to that. Okay, let's go ahead and get